Evening. I would like to call to order the Thursday, April 1st, no fooling planning board meeting for the town of Berwick. If you would all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I would like to introduce the board members tonight, live and in person. We have Allison Herlihy to my left, Mike LaRue, our vice chair. We've got Phil Roy at home. We've got Jerry Graybill, Amber Fecto, no relation to Nicole Fecto, and Paul Amatucci, looking professional as always. And we have Jen McCabe is there at home. She is our code enforcement officer extraordinaire. And then we also have James Bellissimo that has some title that I can't remember, but it has to do with town planning stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So I am going to open up our first public comment session to anybody that is a resident or a property member in the town of Berwick. Do we have anybody in the waiting room?
Nope.
All right. Closing the public comment session, moving on to the approval of minutes for the March 18th, 2021 meeting. They were pretty brief minutes. Did anybody find any issue? Or did James do a good job this time?
That's 3 in a row.
Good job. That is 3 in a row. Paul, did you find anything?
I found nothing.
Wow. Jerry?
No, I didn't find anything either.
Well then they must be perfect. So I need a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the planning board minutes.
All right, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a second. All in favor? Raise your hands. Aye. All right, that looks like it was fully approved. Thank you. Moving on to new business. We have a conditional use amendment and site plan review for the adult use marijuana production facility at 569 Portland Street, which is formerly known as Straight Fire Farms, is now known as Easygoing LLC. James?
Good evening, everyone. On February 20th, 2020, Straight Fire Farms, now Easygoing LLC, was granted a conditional use approval for an adult use production facility. The definition of adult use production includes both cultivation and processing. At that time, only cultivation was included as part of the application. The applicant is now requesting to add a manufacturing facility. This is considered an amendment to an existing conditional use approval. Therefore, the cap would not limit this application. The proposed 520 square feet will be in addition to the 2,945 square feet constructed earlier this year. And as a result, this application falls under site plan review. The lot in total is 10.3 acres. The hours of operation are proposed to be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And there will be an estimated 10 employees associated with the expansion. So there are existing non-conforming lighting issues on the site. The light fixtures on the building have been there pretty much since the beginning of the building. And some stadium lights were installed a few years ago. I just included section 7.4 for reference. There are several waivers requested as part of this application. Scale of 1 inch to 40 feet, building elevation, topography, soils report. From the applicant, they mentioned that the site is effectively flat and has already been developed with existing structures. And then lastly, copies of letters to department heads notifying them of development. I had some outstanding questions for the applicant. How is the waste being stored? What kind of waste is there from the process? How will it be transported to the transfer station? Where will the 10 employees park in relation to the existing approved uses? I think the parking plan probably should be updated. What is the status of the approved rain garden? And what is the status of the septic system? And has the septic system been relocated? And for the planning board, questions for you. How should the lighting be addressed? I'm sure you guys will want to know details on the extraction process and the safety precautions. then I think you can get right into the discussion on application completeness. That's all I got.
Great. So I'm assuming this is the applicant, or who will be speaking for the applicant today that wants to? All right, Evan.
Hi, how's it going, guys?
Good.
So, I think certainly some of those things I can address. When it comes to more of the detail of the processes themselves, I would say the client, the owner, tenant of the building would probably be better suited to address those, but anything related to the site development, I could probably cover. Is there a list we can go through point by point, or what would be the best way to go
Well,
about that?
so this meeting is for application completedness. So first and foremost on the board, we need to look at the application, which I have sitting in front of me right now, and it doesn't look complete to me. So the first thing that we'll just kind of put aside is that we can't vote on this because I don't have a complete application in front of me. So the next time you come back, you're gonna want, James can show you what you're gonna need, but it's the whole first part of that application right there. I'm looking at it, there's no boxes checked off. I don't have the materials in front of me, so we need that for sure. But we can ask questions and kind of get you rolling, right, for the rest of it, James? Or should we just not do anything until we get application
No,
complete?
I think now is a good opportunity to get everything out on the table and, give you
Okay,
guys some good.
I think so too. Yeah, so,
Absolutely.
oh yeah, the lights, that's a no-go. No, so well, if you're gonna talk, just come up to the podium so that you're on the mic and just state your name and,
My name's Harvey Paul. I just want to speak about the light part of it.
okay,
We're the furthest most point from the town. The lighting that's there has been there for years. The lighting on the building's been there pushing 30 years, 24, 5 years. The stadium light is not in Berwick. That's in North Berwick.
okay,
Now, according to my lawyer, Berwick has not a lot to say about that light.
okay.
Now, take that out of the picture. My issue with it is being the furthest most point from the town. I'm friends with the local police. They come there once a night, maybe twice a night. We have all kinds of issues with security. Currently, I'm certain some of you have heard about the catalytic converters being stolen from vehicles. I mean, that's a terrible thing. I got 100 vehicles out there. So, I talked to James about he's doing his job.
Yeah,
Love James, does a great job. But this particular lighting deal, where we are with what's at stake, especially with more businesses going in there, I told him that this should be exempt, waived, I don't know the proper term for that particular part of this.
right.
But where we are, without a guarantee the police can be there 6 times a night, which is, that's crazy to even ask. However, security is a huge issue. And with the stuff at hand, like I said, and this catalytic converter thing is huge. And especially in my case, with the amount of vehicles that are there, the lighting it's important.
I 100% agree with you. So there's no waiver for lighting. That's a town ordinance. You have to obey the town ordinances. So we have how many marijuana facilities do we have? Marijuana is a huge security issue.
I understand.
We have lots of them. They're all obeying the lighting ordinance.
I get it.
And it's not about the light going down. It's about the light that goes up in the sky. It's a dark sky compliant and no glare on the road, like for vehicles
understand
driving.
that.
And I understand your setback, so maybe they're not getting glare, but it's required. It's required of everybody. And that's not, we don't have the power to waive that. And probably Jenny could speak to that. Jen? You're better versed in this than I am. Maybe she's not listening.
Well, on the same notion though,
Listening, but hold on one second.
Okay.
I just have Ruthie.
Oh yeah, okay.
You mentioned the light itself is in North Berwick?
I'm sorry, guys.
the
what was
stadium
question?
light is, yes.
It's so they're asking about getting waivers for the lighting, our lighting ordinance, and that's not something that we have the ability to waive. So just kind of,
Well, because that light does fall on the North Berwick line, that's something that we're gonna have to discuss with our town attorney,
Right.
Phil, and I can let you know what he thinks about it.
yeah, and aside from that particular light, I mean, I don't want to get into town line disputes over a light, but the rest of the lights that are in Berwick do have to fall under our ordinance.
That's correct.
And
They do.
when was that ordinance established?
Well, the town people voted on it, so we all voted on it. When was this
But I mean,
lighting
what, was it
one?
recent, is what I'm saying?
No.
I think
A few
It's
years
been
ago.
years.
All we're talking about here is a shield that goes on top of the light that's like $40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it.
I get it,
Yeah.
but it's not really the point. The point is, those lights have been there 25
Totally get
years.
it.
Yep.
You know what I'm
But
saying?
you're
So I
at-
mean,
But
at
you're
what
coming-
point,
Adding a new
yeah, and
thing
where's the
to
word
it,
grandfather come in, and where's the, I mean,
Not
you know.
when you're coming in with a conditional
adding a
use
new-
permit
yeah, you're adding something new.
to do
I- I
medical
get
I get
marijuana.
it,
You have
I
to
get
up-
it, but I just want you guys to be
yeah.
aware that, because as far as I'm concerned, you know, tell me the police are gonna be there 6 times a night,
No.
and I ain't got no concerns.
Yeah,
But the
well-
way it is, the lights are, I mean, as far as security goes, it's an issue.
I understand.
You can
And
add more lights too. You can have more lights.
Yeah.
It's not a matter. It's a matter of it going to the road. You can
and
have,
beyond your property line.
and beyond the property line. That's basically it. You can have all the lights in the world facing towards you. It's going out. That's the issue. That's why we want the blinds on it.
And I mean,
That's-
and security is, if you're having that much of a security issue with catalytic converters, then we have to pay extra attention to security with a medical marijuana facility that you have operating.
I would
here.
hope, yeah.
Yeah, oh
I mean,
yeah.
you
So
know,
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying that.
I
So we
just,
want
like I
it to
said,
be-
it's not like we're
I-
saying get rid of your lights. We're just saying try and.
Yeah, it's not the security
We
part
want
of
it
it.
to be
It's-
secure.
It's just the idea, the lights are a major piece of it.
Yes,
And,
yeah.
and to dim the lights or change the lights and again,
Yeah.
you know, I just think it really needs to be looked at because I understand
Michael,
something in
you're-
downtown, you know, I see where it fits. We're in the Wild West, I mean.
No, I understand. Jen, since you're the one that has to enforce this.
Well, here's the thing. So your building's in Berwick and your conditional use is in Berwick. So you will probably need to go by our ordinance for that lighting. So on your property, of course. But yeah, I think we can, I'm reading the ordinance. We can definitely enforce that, even if it's a North Berwick light right now. I will check with Phil, but you will have to comply by our ordinance for that light.
Yeah. And that'll be a condition of your approval. That'll be a condition of your certificate of occupancy so that you can operate the business. We have to
That's
make
correct.
sure everybody's, we had the same problem out on, with what's his name, out on School Street. Oh my God. And I mean, we can argue all day about it. You can say this, we can say this, but in the end, this is the ordinance, the town voted on it. It is what it is. You want to sell medical marijuana, this is what we have to do.
adult use,
Whatever it is.
marijuana.
Whatever it is, I don't care what it is.
Are you guys considering, I mean, you mentioned, have you had catalytic converter thefts at your?
Everybody around me has, but I have not.
Oh, that's good.
So your lights are effective, but.
Well, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
It's like, I got a
Understood.
system, that works.
Yep.
The guy down the street lost a $2,000 catalytic converter off my truck right out in front of his place.
Yeah.
I have the best security. I mean, I've got motorcycles in my shop that are worth, you know, they're 6 figures a piece. I mean, and a lot of them. And so, you know, security, I have huge security. But it's not so much about security when you're dealing with the external stuff.
Absolutely.
You know, and
Is that bad?
You know, it just doesn't, it's a shame.
Is that bad? Oh, yeah. Just come up. If you're going to talk, you need to come up to the
Sorry.
podium.
No, I'm done.
But we're done with the lights
I'm
now.
done. I just
Okay, so,
think it's a sad thing.
So when you come back with the updated and complete application, we're going to want to see, so I see the drawing of the building. We're going to want to see the light plan. So the lights that are on the building, the lights locations, and the lights on the new proposed building. An updated parking plan in that application. Although you would like to waive the site plan scale, which is, I'm actually on board with waiving that. We need bigger, I can't read this, and I have really good eyesight, and I can't read the details of it, and it's just the details are really important. So do you want to, is somebody making note of this, James? A larger size of plans. It doesn't have to be the hugest size, but I need more than this. I can't read it. And written statement that's on the sidebar needs to be on a separate sheet of paper so that we can read that as well. The type is too small for us. Yeah, so those are just those things really quick. Jen, can you, oh, I don't want to bother you if you've got babies, Jenny, but can you, oh, sorry, okay, don't worry about it. I'll come back to you. So let's go back to the questions then. How is the waste being stored? What kind of waste is there, and how will it be transported to the transfer station? Evan?
If the client could chime in on that, I think that would be best.
Well, just, what do you mean?
From the extraction process?
That should be.
Okay, that's they're deflecting to you, Evan. So we need to know what kind of waste is generated during the extraction process. Where is it going to be stored? How is it going to be stored? And then how will it be transported to the transfer station or wherever it is that you get rid of it?
Sure. We have a fire protection report that's written up that describes the general extraction process and does provide some explanation of the waste aspect. That would be the best thing to refer to for that. I know you put that to James. I'm not sure if that is in front of you all or.
It is not.
Okay.
So maybe with that application, when you guys come back, the next time you come back, we have, or do you have something you can tell us?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what we're talking about as far as waste. Like, I mean, it's a gas that gets continuously
Well, you also have
reused.
flour material that
Yeah,
people
so
come
the
in
flour
and
material will
trim.
go dispose. That'll be
That-
through the trash service.
Okay.
And that
That's
would.
just all we're trying to figure
Yeah,
out.
no, that's why I came up. Yeah.
And that's in a
That would be in a locked,
dumpster?
yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So the building, I don't know if it has to be moved or not, but we had already talked about where it was gonna go.
25-foot thing, is that legitimate on that, even with a steel building that's explosion proof, because the way they've designed it
If
is
you're,
10 feet.
can you just talk into the mic just
Yeah,
because Terry's walking out right now. She's gonna come out and yell at us and I'm just.
But you're on television and people can't hear you if you're not at the podium.
There was some questions about the footage from and so I know when I spoke to the fire chief, he thought that the state of Maine wanted it to be 25 feet away from the other building, but being an all-steel building, explosion-proof, et cetera, I said, geez, I says, is that part of the code? He didn't know at the time. Now, I've seen some of the email stuff back and forth, and he asked that it be 25 feet. Is that a code thing for a building like this, or?
That's something that we can get an answer for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it changes what we're doing if that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it changes it for the better. That allows us to create a compound that we can fence in, so that whole back area
That
is locked
sounds
in.
like something you
So-
should do, yeah.
And then we can have the dumpster back there, the
Yep.
cars can get pulled back there, so we can improvise or update the parking plan. We can put a shield on the light so that it doesn't go up into the air. I think Dino doesn't want to change the light. I don't think he understands that we could just put a shield on top of it and
No,
block
I
that
get it,
light.
it's just for me,
Wait, you got-
Into the microphone.
we've got something that works. And
I got it.
We've had no issues with security, we've had no issues with theft, we've
Got
been
it.
there 25 years, we've had no issues. And now it's like, hey, change what you're doing, and it's like,
Well, just
Yeah,
update
it's
it.
only
Just
because of
update
this.
I
That's
get it, I
Yep.
get it.
Tear it all down, you can do whatever the hell you
I was just hoping there
want.
was a magic wand that you could.
I got nothing.
This building
wish
being
it
in the
was like
Wild
that.
West, you don't have to do it. No, I
Oh,
understand.
all I have is a gavel and a panic button,
No,
and
I
neither of those do that.
Hey, Nicole.
Yes,
I found a quiet place. I'm so sorry, guys. How embarrassing.
that's
So,
okay.
So for your waste, we would require a dumpster with trash pickup, like you were discussing, but we would also require it to be locked at all times.
Yep.
It can never be unlocked overnight or during the day. It has to be locked at all times, just to give you a heads up on that. And the lighting issue, I mean, it's an ordinance and you're gonna have to follow it. So if
Yeah.
you need more information on what you need to do, or you want me to come out, sometime in the evening and take a look at it, I'd be happy to do that for you. But
Yeah, that'd probably be
unfortunately,
helpful.
you're gonna have to follow it.
Jen, can you ask me what the status of the building permit is over there? On the building that they're building?
So
it's built.
which permit? The one that came in after the fact?
The after the fact, yes.
Yep, so that is ready for pickup on Monday. Those were all printed yesterday. That's the status of that.
Okay.
So they'll come in, they'll pay for it, and they'll pick it up, and then we're gonna have to go do an inspection in the building, and I don't know the status of that yet until
Okay.
we do it.
Okay.
So
All right.
that has to be
Whenever
figured
you're
out
ready.
before they can go forward. Yep, whenever you guys are ready, just give me a call.
Yep.
Pick it up tomorrow.
Okay, so what is the status on the approved rain garden that you guys are doing for your LID?
So we haven't constructed the rain garden yet
Okay.
because we wanted to make sure that before we cover up the building or we want to make sure that we step this thing so
Yep.
that we don't miss anything.
Okay. You're
So-
not going to get a CO until that's
No
done?
problem.
Okay.
Yeah, that's no problem.
All right, good.
The rain garden will take us a couple days.
All right. And then the septic system, has it been relocated?
So I thought that the septic permit got turned in with that. I apologize. It's done.
Okay.
It's relocated.
okay.
It was done by Joe Noel. He handed me all the paperwork.
Okay, cool.
It's been upsized. Yeah, so
Yeah, I think it might not. I checked the file and yeah,
it's no problem.
thank you.
All right, so
Sorry, this is my first time.
No,
going
that's
through
okay. It's
this,
mine
so
too. It's okay.
I'm learning as I go.
I'm just learning how to do this too, so it's okay. So I just want to go around the board and just let everybody ask their questions. Paul's got that look on his face like he's got questions, and I love that. But I'm going to let Mike LaRue go first.
The only thing I would say is I would talk to the OMP about the setback for your building. It may be 25 feet. That's a state regulation.
Yeah, I think the 25 feet already works well for us to
Yeah.
create that courtyard
Yeah.
so that we can lock everything up. So.
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
you're going to want to come back with your new plans. So at your
Just
next
update it,
meeting,
yeah.
like just have everything complete.
Okay.
That's it, Mike?
Yep, that's it.
Ms. Hurley.
Till August.
Until August.
No, I think I'm good.
All right, Phil?
I'm just, first time I've laid eyes on any of this was this evening, so just out of my curiosity.
too.
So you guys are, you use, it's a butane process that you use?
This is a butane extraction process. I think that they also might utilize ethanol, but I'm not positive.
Okay.
Evan could speak more to that.
So the butane, is that stored, I assume there's a large vessel on premises where that's stored?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there would be a pressure container somewhere.
And what's the volume?
That, you'd have
Evan?
to ask. That's an Evan question.
So that's all called out on the, if you look at the floor plan, it is on, should be the third page in that package. And by the way, I think it's quite possible that you all aren't looking at the most updated, because some of the things mentioned sound like they were from old plans.
Well, that's helpful.
But in the most recent one, the third page, we show butane located not only in the lab workspace, but also in use in extraction booth 20. And they're also labeled the volume, so it's 60 pounds.
I see the internal ones. My concern was the external bulk storage for butane, and then what are your setbacks? Is this above ground? Is it in ground? And is the fire chief on board with your guys' plan moving forward?
So as far as this process is designed, I mean, this is the complete amount of butane that'll be necessary to run this processing operation. So there shouldn't need to be any outside storage. And in terms of maximum allowable quantities, that's typically how we would analyze and lay out these areas.
Okay.
So this is all constructed of a 1 hour rated sandwich insulated metal panel. So essentially what that does is it creates control areas that each separate control area is under the max limit, which for an unsprinklered building is 240 gallons of solvent. In pounds, I don't have the number offhand, but our process hazard analysis explains how this is complying with the fire code.
Okay, so if I'm understanding what you're saying, that the print that I'm looking at shows 4 vessels. Those are the vessels that's the only place that butane will be stored on the premises?
Yeah, that's
okay.
what's proposed. That's the way the process hazard analysis lays that out, you know, how that functions with all the equipment. There's no additional
Yeah, we don't have that
butane that'll be
paperwork.
stored or in
Okay.
use.
All right.
Satisfied?
I am. Yep.
All right, Mr. Amatucci.
Can I step in first?
Yes, you may.
Really sorry, Paul. I'm not sure, Evan, do you guys have a license through the state for that process? We just went through this in Berwick and it was kind of a big deal, so.
So typically granted, we've done some work in Maine. Usually the way that we get this equipment through and the process through is that each individual piece of equipment has an engineer peer review document, that explains the compliance of all the parts on the machine itself, its functionality, and that's stamped by a PE. And then what we have done as well is we have a fire protection engineer that writes a more complete report that outlines, here are the pieces of equipment in use with their associated engineer peer reviews, explain the process, and then he stamps that, certifying that process as a compliant process. And then typically we deliver that to the city along with the building permit documents. Fire department, building department reviews those items for compliance.
Is a special part of your license that has to specify that you're able to do that through the OMP? So you might want to give them a call if you don't have that.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, and just for context too, in terms of my scope of work, I'm on the facilities design side. In terms of any state level permitting for cannabis use, that's sort of outside of what I'm doing, so.
Okay, Paul?
Yeah, just to be, this is the first time I'm looking at this as well, so excuse me if everybody already knows these answers. But I'm looking at the application here. What is the existing building that was approved in February last year? Was that an extraction facility? That was approved?
Facility.
No.
Which was it?
No, that was a grow and a retail
A
facility.
grow and a retail facility.
Okay, because this says existing uses cannabis extraction on the application.
Yeah,
So
which it
is
isn't. That's
is
the
existing
new.
use of that property extraction, or is the new use?
So we had it, we changed the
Right.
use
That's
to
the
cannabis.
that's the new use that they're going for. So that is not. Yeah, that's mislabeled.
Okay,
Good catch,
so
Paul.
I just wanted to clarify that so I
Yeah.
know what we're talking about.
Yep.
So I just wanted to say that we understand that we need the OMP licenses, but
Okay.
we've been dealing with the town first so that we can acquire that.
Okay.
And we'll be applying to the state,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, it's pretty much their, I've been in contact a lot with OMP. They'll get their certificate of occupancy, they'll get their local license, planning board approval, they send an application to us, and then we send it to OMP, and then they turn around their license in like a week, they said.
Okay.
And the fire chief has signed off on,
No, we're
Oh,
gonna
he is
we're gonna
not. Okay.
discuss we're gonna
Okay.
discuss that later.
because I think my biggest concern is that, and I don't know who had mentioned it, but there's no installed fire suppression system in the new building?
That is Evan, I'm not sure. I believe the building is bomb, fireproof, shatterproof, like
Okay.
proof.
My concern, and that's fine, but, from a first responder standpoint, we got volunteer firefighters and such that would
I would
respond
believe the
if
state
there was
would
an issue.
require fire suppression
It
in
does
there.
not, okay.
That's, Evan, you could speak to that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hate to keep referring to this, but that's all outlined in the process hazard analysis as well. So for the quantity of butane proposed, you're able to use, per the code, able to use up to that amount without in an unsprinklered structure. So
Okay.
we're under that FAQ. If they had sprinklers, it would double the amount of butane that could be present in the building, but for the proposed amount, it's permissible without sprinklers.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
Paul, do you
sorry.
have any other questions?
I do. The other thing which has always been a key point for me has been odor mitigation. What are we doing about odor mitigation?
There won't be much smell out of this. It's in the blast
That doesn't
zones.
work. There won't be much smell.
Oh, no, like I'm saying I know this extraction pretty well, and everything's frozen. So at that point, it's frozen, and then it goes into the waste. And once it's touched with the butane, all the essential oils are out of the material. So there is no smell. It smells like little hay poofs. Like
They have a
it's-
carbon filter rate too, as well.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
store has a filtration system as well.
Yeah, that's already,
Yeah,
we've
so-
already passed that though.
And I mean, he owns 40 acres in that spot, so there's not, I don't know
Yeah,
where
is
the
there,
clearance-
in our ordinances, is there,
Property
is
line.
the, is
It's
the,
property line.
it is property
Yeah.
line? Okay. For extraction too?
Well, just
Yeah,
for any
Just for
smell.
anything, okay.
Any
Yeah, but
smell.
they have a carbon filter in here.
Okay, all right. So
And
there is a carbon
What
filter.
Mike said, that's relatively low odor
Yeah.
to begin
Right.
with, and
Yeah.
they're
Okay.
filtering it too.
Cultivation, you need a lot of air filtration.
And have they had, are you guys cultivating yet over there?
No.
Okay,
no, no.
okay. So we don't know, because you're not cultivating there, so we don't even know if we have any odor issues with that
Exactly.
property yet. But, so there is a odor mitigation plan in place for this one.
Yep.
Anything else, Paul?
I think for now, that's it.
Okay. Jerry?
No, I think you've already touched on what I had, was permits required,
Okay.
OMP and possibly the DEP. I talked to James earlier.
Okay.
And I'm gonna check with DEP. We had some comments from the previous application. We're seeing if it will apply
Okay.
for here.
Amber, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. So the only other thing I want to touch on before I send you back off into the wild, wild west to get your stuff together.
He's joking.
I know. Listen, I'm just trying to be personable.
No. I'm just watching dollar signs. Go ahead.
No. So I just want to look at, so we can't vote, we're not going to vote on any of it because the application's not complete.
Sure.
And we're not going to vote on waiver requests, but I do want to just get the consensus of the board because I have some feelings about it. So the site plan scale, I think that's fine for waiving. I'm not comfortable with waiving building elevation. Topography and soils, I think is fine with waiving, and I'm not comfortable with waiving the copies of the letters from the department heads. And does anybody have any feelings about that on the board? Speak up.
No, I'd agree with you.
I'm in agreement with the height,
Just showing.
not wavering on the height, just because if you do it once, you're setting a precedent, and I think we have to hold firm.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep. Okay, so that's, I mean, we're not voting on it tonight because we can't.
No, that's okay. We
Yeah.
wanted to see what basis we
Right.
needed.
So I think you have James is going to have a really good list of what you need to tackle, but basically, we need bigger plans, we need the updated plans, and if you need that 25-foot setback from the other building, then you got to go back to the drawing board anyway. Completed application, updated parking plan. I want to see the lights on the whole plan, including the lights on the building. I would go ahead and just start getting the letters from the department heads, and the building elevation. We want to see what it's going to look like.
Yeah, that
It's
won't
really
be a
just
problem.
letters to the department heads.
Oh, letters to the department heads, yeah.
It's really, it's just a copy that just says
Yeah.
you sent it to,
Yep.
And then I think the fire chief is the one that, you just want to be comfortable with the process, and
Yeah.
we'll work with OMP and get a comment from
Yep.
him.
And then just all that written stuff that's on the sidebar on like separate pieces of paper where we can see it, including the waste and the fire suppression and all that stuff, just where it's easier. I think this fire suppression was in this thing that I'm looking at on my phone, which is useless.
So
Yeah,
it
so I-
seems like what you guys are doing is scalable and it's being done elsewhere. Am I correct? in
Oh,
that
yeah.
assumption?
Oh, yeah.
Is there any, could you guys provide an example of an existing business that we could just look at and say, because this is all new to me and I'm just trying to wrap my head around it, and just so we can see.
Or maybe, so what I think would be good is next time if Evan can talk to us about like, here's what we're doing, because we're not marijuana experts. We have no idea, even though we deal with this every day. We don't know, like Mike actually is, but we don't know what this means. I don't know what extraction means. So maybe the next time you come in with the completed application and all the stuff, you can just give us a nice little presentation about it.
Makes sense.
Yep.
All right, awesome. Okay, well then I think you guys are good. You have a good
We have a good
set
grasp.
of instructions. Go back to the Wild Wild West, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
It's just the West.
Oh, it's just the West.
We'll
Berwick,
catch up
North
with you on Monday,
Berwick.
okay? All right,
Thank you. You guys have a
guys.
good night.
Thanks, gentlemen.
All right. Concluding new business, I'm going to open up the second public comment session. Do we have anybody in the waiting room
We don't.
waiting to yell at me? No. So I'm going to close the public comment session. Informational items.
Let's
They
see.
tore down a bunch of buildings.
Yeah,
across the street.
so yeah, I think what we'll see over there is they're gonna start picking through what's been demolished. You might see some minor site work, some landscaping, because they got the trees that have grown through the fence.
It's a town forest.
They'll be back. Great Falls Construction will be back to planning board June, July-ish. They're working through the DEP stuff. They want to submit. They got it's either June or July. They're aiming to have a full submittal. And that's a 6-month waiting process to get the site plan done. And I think what we'll see is there'll be to planning board as well for conditional use on the L-shaped building, which that could potentially be where the first commercial tenants are from. So, we might not see, major construction happening, but I think we'll see a steady stream.
Jenny, do you have anything for us?
I have a couple things actually from the code office, and I'm mostly saying them because this is a TV program. Building permits right now, so building permits and inspections usually have a 24-hour turnaround. Right now, 72. I'm coming back and I am overloaded with permits right now and just catching up on inspections. I'm also covering for South Berwick while he's out. So just to give you guys a heads up, you might wait a little bit longer, but I promise you guys can start building right away. And another thing is the code enforcement, when you call the town hall, it directs you to a phone line at the town hall, but please remember that I do work remote, but I'm also on the road all day. Please use the cell phone because a lot of times I'm getting those messages, no kidding, 10 o'clock at night, where I can't respond back to you because they come to me through email, and sometimes I'm checking my email that late. So we're open 24 hours, we are, but I'm not gonna respond to you at 10 o'clock at night. So just please make sure that you know that the cell phone number is 207-752-6103, okay? That's
Thanks.
all.
Thanks, Jen. Thank you for participating so much. I know it was hard tonight, and I had a lot of questions for you.
Oh,
Jen.
no, it's okay. I'm so sorry about that. She's
Okay.
not usually like that. I don't know what's going on.
It's all right.
Jen, you're awesome.
You are
I
awesome.
was just gonna say,
appreciate
don't be
it.
sorry, you're a rock star.
You are deeply appreciated.
Paul,
Thanks. I
Paul, do
appreciate
you,
that.
Paul, do you have any informational items for us?
I have nothing.
All right. Mr. Graybill?
I'm all set.
No. Mrs. Fecto?
I'm all set as well.
All right. Phil Roy, anything you got for
I do
us?
not.
Allison?
Can I discuss what I talked to you guys about? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, of
All right.
course.
So just so everybody that is watching knows, we do have a new committee through our volunteer group Envision Berwick. So if you want to know more about the vote that's going to be happening in June and you want to feel empowered about your vote and what it means, please reach out to Jeremy Casson and the Envision Berwick team. You can find their info on our website. And get involved with that because it's something really important and we want to see you guys all out there voting.
Good. I'm glad that you guys are doing that. It's really important. Mike LaRue, do you have anything for us?
Oh, a second time?
Fine.
I'm just kidding. There's a comprehensive planning, Envision Berwick. There's a ton of ways to get involved, and it can be small or it could be a big project, whatever you want to sink your teeth into. But with the excitement happening across the street, now's a great time to get involved.
I have so many people asking me if there are planning board openings, and I'm like, no, we have people waiting to get on this board now. Such a difference from a year ago. Okay, with that, I would like a motion to adjourn. Somebody?
If there's no further comments or questions, live from the esteemed Burgess Conference Room in the depths of the Berwick Town Hall, I'd like to propose a motion to adjourn.
I have a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
All right, seconded by Paul. All in favor?
Aye.